Hi, today we're going to talk about some exercises and some things that relate to the wrist and the hand. So, first of all, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physical therapist, not anything like that. I'm a yoga student and I'm a musician, and I also have some background in Tai Chi as well. So, these are things that were taught to me in classes like those with some really great teachers. So the first thing I'm going to show is an exercise that will perhaps strengthen and certainly loosen some of the muscles on the ventral and dorsal side of the forearm. And you can start by placing the thumb inside the palm, gripping it with the fingers rather strongly, so you have a good strong fist like this, and then make some rotations. And you should feel that the muscles are working on the underside and the upper side of the arm as you do this. So that's a good, and I want to do the other side too. Feels like that needs it too. So you can do that. That's great for forearm work, getting some clicks and clacks. So that's a nice way to warm up, and you might counteract that by extending and stretching the hand as well. Another thing that's helpful for well, it's a little bit different. It's more for relieving wrist pain, and this is something that will happen perhaps if you're doing handstands in a yoga class, or wheel, where you're backwards in a back bend and your hands are reversed on the floor. So extreme extension of the wrists. So it's not uncommon to feel some pain in perhaps carpal tunnel and with the ligaments that run across here, or even the ones that extend from the muscles into the hand. So the way we can relieve some of this strain is by taking the opposite hand, middle finger and thumb, and gripping around the wrist joint and giving it a hug, giving it a nice squeeze, and extending the fingers at the same time. So you'll feel perhaps a little separation. So it's a good strong grip and a good strong stretch. And that can relieve some wrist discomfort. Check that out with your therapist or with your doctor to see what they might think about that. But that's a pretty universal way of dealing with some wrist pain. So again, yeah, I guess you could do it with index and thumb too, and extend. And that's a good way of relieving that. I've used this in my own practice, and that always does the trick. So it's a nice relief for the ligaments there if they're bothering you a bit. And again, I feel the need to extend. Maybe you shake it out a little bit. Some wrist circles, just plain old wrist circles can be nice too, with a thumb inside or without.